Meet the new builder. In the new age of rolling up your sleeves and getting your hands dirty. They're in labs, lofts, and war rooms, launching scrappy startups and reinventing big business. They see what doesn't exist, and they make it exist. They know the question isn't if, but when. They know the freedom to fail is the freedom to build, and they don't freak out when they run into a problem. These are the new builders, and we're the cloud that's obsessed with turning their dreams into realities. With the most capabilities, the most innovation, the most customers, and the most experience. We're the cloud that breaks down barriers. When others say no, we let builders say yes. Because we believe everything gets better when you let nothing stand in the builder's way. Amazon Web Services. Build on.
Good morning, everyone, and a warm welcome to Reimagining Education with Appsquadz, unlocking possibilities for virtual education platforms powered by AWS. Before we start, there are a few house rules. Your microphones would be on mute so you can hear our speakers clearly. And if you have any questions, please post it on the question chat window. A moderator and panelists will answer all your queries. And now, to begin the session, I would like to introduce our moderator for today, Mr. Gautam Chhabra, Principal EDM Edge and Elemental AISPL. Over to you, Gautam.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining the webinar. I'll start by introducing my panelists today. And first, we have Mr. Sarthak Jain, who is the CEO at Fast Education. He's a renowned chartered accountant himself. Fast Education is a leading CACS coaching institute with 90+ centers across India. And then we have Mr. Pramod Maheshwari. He's the founder and MD of CareerPoint and ex-IITian himself. CareerPoint helps prepare for entrance exams like NEET, JEE, NTSC, Olympiad, and K-12. And we have Mr. Ashu Ternain. He's the growth head at Appsquadz, doing a great job in uncovering new growth areas for Appsquadz and introducing innovative technologies. So that was our esteemed panel for today. And myself, I am Gautam Chhabra. I'll be moderating this session. I'm with AWS, working as a principal BDM for Edge and Elemental Media. So let me start by setting the context. The world keeps responding to the COVID-19 situation business leaders and technocrats around the world are innovating new ways to maintain business continuity and productivity. The online education market in India is seeing a huge growth. It was valued around 39 billion INR in 2018 and it expected to grow to INR 316 billion by 2024. This is around 10x kind of a growth in 6 years. The ease of learning, flexibility, and a wide variety of study material have influenced the overall growth of the industry. Key industry trends include use of gamification concepts and video streaming to enhance these user which we must solve. These include selection of the right technology partner, the right solution fit, ability to automate and scale your workflow, ease of use, internet connectivity for serving the content across multiple devices like handheld mobile phones to iPad and laptops, and then finally scale. Scale is so important to enable you to serve a vast geographic reach across a diversified set of customer base and delivering the content in a secure manner. So I'll open it to our panelist here and put up my first question to Mr. Sarthak Jain. Mr. Jain, edtechs are evolving and charting their way through digital transformation, and fast education has been at the forefront. What are the key highlights of your journey so far, sir?
So you would have come across this particular quote, which says that technology cannot replace great teachers, but technology in the hands of great teachers can be transforming. This is something which I think sums up the whole purpose of marriage of technology and education, which is something which is very, very imperative because there is always going to be a scarcity for good teachers. However, with the aid of technology, you can do two things. One, you can relieve a great teacher from a lot of burden without sacrificing on the value proposition for the students, and B, you can make yourself available across. And this is basically what has been our thought process over the years, which has kind of further evolved, and COVID has only reinforced our thoughts into it. I'd like to thank Gautam for calling us here and inviting to this event. Thanks AWS Appsquadz and all the participants who are here, and we think that we'll share our experience which could be of some relevance to your own cases, and I'm sure a lot of our experiences could be the problems which you are possibly facing today, which we were facing yesterday, and we somehow or the other found solutions to it. So sharing my own personal experience with technology at Fast Education, we being a coaching institute for 11th, 12th and chartered accountancy courses, we had this privilege that our courses nationally remains the same. And when we started way back in 2006, gradually in the 5-7 years of our classes, there were a lot of students and requests coming in that why are you not available in different cities? Now, it was obviously not possible to replicate our teachings at different places where technology was available to do that much easily. So we first started with sharing our lectures. We almost set it up initially because the internet connectivity and all that stuff was not there earlier. So we almost set it up our own VSAT, which eventually we found would not work because of all the admin hassles involved. So we started giving our lectures through various centers, which we have around 90 plus now. And there the lectures were being streamed. So we used to share the recorded lectures and that used to be streamed. But there was no live interaction with the student. There was no two-way communication, and there were a lot of issues. It was like student coming from their places to the centers watching the lecture on a big screen, and then the question was as to why we cannot go to the student's place itself, as to why he has to take that hassle of traveling. However, since internet speeds were not so great at that point of time, eventually that could not happen. And in 2017, then we started giving lectures to students at their own places. So we used to kind of give lectures on an offline mode where student can download it through our servers and access it with all the security and encryption. We still could not be successful in terms of having live classes in 2017, because we tried doing that, but the challenges which we faced were there's almost 2 GB of data being consumed for 1 hour of HD screening which we were doing, and our lectures used to be 3.5 hours at that point of time. One session, I mean. So we needed to improvise on that. So we needed something excellent in terms of the compression technology. Second, our batches used to have 1,000 to 2,000 kind of a student base at one point of time. This is the kind of population which we were addressing. We were not having that kind of an infrastructure support which could kind of handle these things. Now, thankfully, with the advent of better internet and other things, these things became possible. And then we, during these COVID times, started thinking in terms of how can we go live and institute these things, because now these things are much more easily available. And then we did an extensive research in terms of so we actually almost spoke to around 10 odd different partners, only to identify that this is actually finally the combination, wherein then we kind of partnered with AWS and Appsquadz for developing this kind of a technology, where today, if we talk about, so just to give you some inputs which could be relevant for you, as in the user case studies which we do. So while we were taking these classes, we needed like 1,000 odd students attending the classes. Now everybody chatting, you just cannot use chats the way it is available on online different platforms. So there are so many ready-made platforms which you can use. But for us, a basic thing was like, say for example, if we are getting a chat, we should have a moderation for the chat. The faculty should be able to label the chat as in, is this a chat which is let's say a relevant one, or this is something which is more for fun and interaction. We needed some small things like keeping an interval between two chats, or one person putting in two chat, blocking a student for chatting. That was one. So we definitely thought that we need something, a customized solution. And that is why we decided that a ready-made solution is not something which is going to work for us. And then we developed our own app with the partnership of Appsquadz and AWS, wherein today the kind of features which we have are something which are path-breaking. So student doing a live class, for us, technology always was, if there is a problem, there has to be a solution, and how to get that solution for that. So that was pretty simple and direct. It was, we cannot replace teachers, that is for sure, but we can definitely put in such enablers which can, without occupying our teachers more, still provide that solution. So let's say, for example, most of us face this issue that a student joins in, say, 3 days after the class. So you have recorded lectures available, which is pretty straightforward. Sometimes what happens is a student joins the class, he gets the material dispatch gets delayed for some reason. So you have an online encrypted model. So we developed this particular technology where all the PDF files, 100% of the course material is available there, and it is absolutely secured with watermarking technologies and everything. And thanks for you guys for developing it for us. So student on the go in his 100-gram mobile phone can carry a material which could weigh 5 kgs and just can flip through at any point of time and just look at it. The live lectures as of today, what we are working takes 3.5 hours of live lecture, hardly consumes 800 to 1 GB of data, which is something which is exceptionally in our industry. I don't think anybody else has been able to achieve that. So with the kind of compression on the go, on the fly technologies which AWS provides and the integration which is done, that is another solution. That is another thing which we have achieved. So in that sense, our journey of technology started in 2013, where we first introduced technology to provide offline lectures, which then transformed gradually over the period. And post-COVID is that we have got a little more deeper into it, finding problem to a lot of our solutions, whether it is solving question and answer, giving test, MCQ solving, giving revision lectures to the student, or basically taking an assessment online for the students. And this is all something which we develop simple and do it through our app, which is all integrated. A teacher sitting at his home, I think COVID has brought in a biggest challenge that you've not been working a lot from your home, and you can do that sitting anywhere, and there is no as such infrastructure issue involved in it. You don't have to take those kind of overheads. So I think these are pretty obvious things, but yes, a customized technology developed has helped us a lot in that particular sense, and that has really helped us in terms of so being a market leader in our industry is always secondary. What is more important is that the student who's coming to us feels that he's getting something which is the state of the art. He's always a step ahead with others, and he's getting something what he really needs. And I think that is something which we have done through this particular technology innovation. Yeah.
Sure, Mr. Jain. I'll come back to you to listen more. Thanks for sharing your highlights of the digital innovation. Going to Mr. Maheshwari, sir, can you share the key, highlights of your experience in innovating for the online education platform, please? Mr. Maheshwari,
So thanks,
sir,
Gautam. Yeah. Thanks, Gautam. Let me share what has been we doing. So CarePoint is almost 29, 30 years old organization, and we started almost in a very traditional mode long back when I graduated from IIT, wherein students coming to coaching center taking classes the way it has been happening even 3-4 years ago as well. But as a CarePoint, we've been experimenting with the technology a lot since 2010. We started with recorded lectures, then went on VSAT to conduct online live classes, tried hands with internet over the internet as well. But for last 4-5 years, seeing the availability of quality infrastructure and internet bandwidth, we realized that using technology, we can reach out to the masses in an efficient way. When it comes to innovation, I believe that DNA of delivering education always remains the same, because the outcome is the same, whether you deliver it through technology, using technology, or in a traditional mode. The outcome should be achieved. And therefore, it is very, very important. We realize at CareerPoint that it is very important to keep the technology solution very close to offline environment. So instead of trying to make it a completely new kind of solution, let's make we took a decision. Let's create offline plus kind of platform wherein all the features of offline are available or delivered to the students, in addition to the power of technologies given to the student to enhance his efficiency. Because if you look at the traditional mode of delivering education, as Sarthak was saying, many students are not able to come to the study centers because of their personal reasons, maybe financial or maybe family reasons. As coaching centers are, you can set up a coaching center only at certain location due to financial feasibility issues at the institution. But second, the standardization of lecture is not possible. Because different faculty members have different way of teaching, though you can standardize your study material, but delivery cannot be standardized. There is a human component is always involved in delivering. So seeing that we with the help of Appsquadz and infrastructure of AWS, we created an ecosystem wherein we simply move to online platform while keeping all the ingredients of offline. And that's what been our approach. And I'm happy to share, I spent more than 10-12 years experimenting with technology. This is the first time in real sense I'm able to enroll students and deliver education and to the satisfaction of the student. And when I say to the satisfaction of the student, it actually involves it actually have the feedback of my own also, not from the delivery point of view, but from the recipient side, because my daughter actually took online classes for last 1.5 years, 2 years, and she's been extremely happy with the content, efficiency, etc. So I believe the technology is there now, and habits are changing a lot. Technology, if the technology is used in a manner which makes your efficiency, which improves your efficiency, be it operational, delivery, teaching, and also improves the efficiency of the student, then that solution work in the a solution is acceptable to everyone. And that's what we are trying to do for last 2-3 years using the latest technology. And thanks to everyone who've been part of this journey, that everybody supported a lot, and technology is now I would say is easy to use. It is not a rocket science now. It is just a way that you should get the right people on your side to integrate everything, and you just keep or retain your DNA of delivering education. That's all, and that's what we are doing. That's what we so nothing great we are innovating. Just moving to online, keeping offline components intact, and addressing the challenges of offline using the technology, which actually not possible in offline environment. Like if a student is not able to attend the class for some reason, or wish to take the lecture again, then technology helps, because you have the recorded lectures and can take the same lecture again online. If he wants to revise the syllabus but not at the same pace, want to increase the speed, he can play the video at higher speed as per his own requirement or as per his own pace. So those kinds of small inputs of technology or features of technology is multiplying the efficiency of offline, and that's what we've been doing.
Great. Thanks for sharing that, Mr. Maheshwari. So you spoke about a hybrid kind of a model where you said, there is live lectures and there are some offline content like VOD also to be streamed. Do you do a combination of both live and VOD?
So initially we started with hybrid approach, but because of COVID, it has been online only for last 1.5 years. We believe that both models will exist in future. There will be students who will be only taking online classes for their personal reasons, like not able to go to the institution for because they are not in the same town, or maybe their familiar financial reasons. And there will be hybrid approach both, where students will be going to classroom. And there I see a flipped classroom kind of concept will come in the future. That's what I believe, that you take the lecture at home and come to the institution for the discussion. Because ultimately what we have realized that during lectures, if an expert faculty member is delivering a lecture, it's 97-98% monologue. Like faculty members are so experienced, they take care of all the doubts which actually student asks. So when there's only 2% of interaction is happening during the lecture, then why not to give the lecture to the student in the recorded form and give them time for discussion, so that they can understand the application of concept, application of theory. So I believe going forward, currently we are experimenting with the flip classroom concept. So let's flip the classroom, study lectures at home and come to the institution or come online for discussion only. So ask your doubts and get your doubts clarified, and so that you can reinforce the learning in a better way and enhance the learning outcome of the student. So I think these kinds of innovation and experiment everybody is doing in some or other way, and few things are going getting good response, few things gives you learning, and that's what we've been doing now.
Great. Thank you, sir. Totally agree with you. And this hybrid approach forward post-COVID as well is the way forward, I guess. Ashu, coming to you next. As we heard from Mr. Jain and Mr. Maheshwari on the journey of digital transformation, I think there's been a little bit of a struggle in finding the right technology and the solutions available to meet all these challenges, right, for online education, right? How do you solve for this, and how is Appsquadz, doing to solve the challenges of online education?
Firstly, thank you, Jain sir and Maheshwari sir, for sharing your views. These are all the current issues which most of the educators would be facing right now. And us as Appsquadz, we have seen the market, and we can say that there have been a not so pleasant experience of coaching institutes which they have experienced with other tech partners. I would suggest they should think about few points before they go ahead and decide for a technological partner. Primarily, they should see the security, as this is one of the prime factors when it comes to an e-learning space. Content sensitivity is more in e-learning space than any other OTT or media platforms. So it's not just loss of the revenue to the coaching centers and educators, but also the loss of methods. As Maheshwari sir has rightly pointed out, 97% of the doubt are cleared just in the lecture, because that's the quality of the experience teacher bring to the table. Now, we have to somehow preserve it. Secondly, how we do it as Appsquadz. So security is done at two levels. Firstly, at the server level, where DRM solutions are in place, and at user level on the app, where like the features Jain sir was discussing, screen watermarking and prevention of screen recording. So these are the features which really help. So before you go ahead and choose a tech partner, you have to look, can they really handle these things? Because these, like many features, are not just single click features to add to your e-learning app. Also, if coaching institutes are intending to go online, they should also consider time to market, as the the time you spend developing a solution, you are effectively losing out on the revenue opportunities. Over the years, Appsquadz has attained mastery on e-learning solutions, and which allows us to deliver e-learning solution probably in a week's time as well. So coaching institutes do not end up losing out on revenue. And when hybrid classrooms comes into play, then demands would keep on going up and down. In current scenario, if the lockdowns are happening, then demands would definitely go up. And if hybrid classrooms come into play, the demands would probably go down for the online class. Now, during such situations, you should be partnered with a technology solution, the provider who can handle the scalability of the infrastructure. Now, Appsquadz, thanks to AWS Media Services, can do it beautifully. Lastly, one paramount thing which anyone should look for would be support. Now, for tech support, as it's VOD now, video on demands, we have a 24/7 support team working on solving customer concerns. Because with on-demand service, you cannot have students struggling for support probably some other time after the working hours. So in my opinion, it should be a significant factor when deciding on technology partner to go with. Thank you.
Great, Ashu. Thanks for the response. You mentioned security, you mentioned infra scale, elasticity, if you may. So these are great benefits, and the support, of course, are great benefits which are passed on to the customers. What in terms of technology do you think are the key benefits or differentiators which are passed on to customers?
Specifically in terms of technology, we would also like to mention that as Appsquadz is not just a SaaS-based platform, so the benefit which a customer would get is a customized user experience and user interface. We have enabled more than 270 EdTech institutes over the years, and we have touched more than 20 lakh students' lives. So in the process, we have understood how a transformation of a coaching institute to EdTech platform happens. And we have evolved our tools and libraries to a level where we can quickly create a solution as per the desires of the educators. Now, that is one of the main things. Apart from that, there's definitely a cost benefit when AWS comes into play, simply because of economies of scale. Appsquadz is one of the biggest AWS media services partners in India, and because of which we can offer huge cost savings to our customers, which is otherwise not possible. And apart from that, there is also a benefit of try and buy offer which we have. You know, I'm sure many of us would agree there is a difference between knowing the path and walking it. Yes, coaching institutes would like to go online and have an e-learning app, but they do have certain inhibitions. So we have addressed it. We do have a no cost, no commitment model from Appsquadz where customers can try our services for a week or within a month, and if they do not feel the solution is for them, they can walk away from it. And during this phase, Appsquadz would also bear all the costs of development of the solution and the limited AWS billing. So these are the few things which are definite benefits for the customer, I feel.
Right. And today, Ashu, as you know, video streaming has become a very integral part of the education system, and there are two kinds of video streaming. One is, you know, streaming of live lectures from the classrooms, and the second is consuming video in a VOD form, right, where you have a offline consuming content library available to you for any time, anywhere kind of access. So how do you spin up these services for live and VOD using AWS services? If you can explain that on a high level for our audiences in general.
Surely. So like you have mentioned, there are predominantly two services. That would be, one would be video on demand, which is simpler. And with our tie-up with AWS, what we, the solution is a simple solution would somewhat look like videos staying in Amazon storage called S3 in the raw format. And then that is taken up by Media Convert, which is a transporting service from Amazon, which transfers the videos into bit rates of your choice, whether it is standard definition or high definition format. And then it is distributed securely via CloudFront, which is secure and scalable. So again, scalability is one great benefit when this service comes into picture. And secondly, if we talk about specifically about live streaming, now live streaming has come a long way. Now there were a lot of struggles with live streaming earlier, but with AWS, I would like to mention that we have this cloud contribution encoder called Elemental Link. Now this takes the input from camera and streams automatically through Medialive. What it does is it helps you to focus more on content and not the transcoding issues. The video is compressed and it comes out in different profiles, various formats of your choice. And through media package, it is distributed again through CloudFront, which is Amazon's cloud delivery network. And that again happens securely. So these are the two basic models. If I'd like to touch upon now, there are various services which get attached to it. Something like Live to VOD, which is an exclusive service with AWS. It beautifully assures that once the video is over, it is available to be viewed by the students within minutes. Now, that is one feature which is not available anywhere, and we feel our customers have really benefited from it.
Right. Thanks, Ashu. Thanks for explaining that to us. Mr. Maheshwari, we heard from Ashu on the technology, how a live channel can be spun up in minutes and can be then streamed across the globe to thousands of customers. Have you seen the actual usage during these online education times or in the times of pandemic go up for you? And do you think this would continue post the pandemic, post-COVID era as well?
Yes, so let me share our experience. So initially when we started, earlier we used to record video while doing the live streaming. During the same time, we used to record video on local drive and then compress those videos and used to upload those videos on server for later viewing by the students. And if you are having, let's say, 25 or 30 classes going in a day, then recording 30 lectures, each of 1 hour, and then compressing them and uploading them takes its own times. And our staff used to work till 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the night to make it available. And we used to get too many of requests from the student that I missed the lecture, why I'm not able to view it immediately after the lecture or at any time which is convenient to me at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. And then we reach out to the Appsquadz that we want that video should be made available immediately after the class. And that has actually, once we implemented that using AWS, we realized that it has not only reduced the burden of our staff. Now everybody is going home by 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock once they are finished. But at the same time, it has increased the satisfaction of the students. Because for any reason, if the student is not able to attend the class, and he's been given some assignment which he needs to submit by tomorrow, then he would like to consume the video on the same day, either in the late in the night or early in the morning. And if it is available to the student immediately, then it makes the entire experience of the students extremely good. And that's a personal experience of ours. I believe that post-pandemic, this particular solution of viewing lectures post, regular class is going to stay for sure, because this is something which is now become part of the education delivery. Any institution not using recorded lecture or not giving students recorded lecture for later viewing, I personally feel will not be able to survive in competition, because what happens when students listen in the class, based on my academic experience, I taught physics for almost 20 years. That the teacher delivered lecture in such a smart way that he takes care of, as I was saying, that he takes care of all the doubts. But when student study himself, he come up with many doubts later on, and then he required to refer the lecture again, which was not possible in offline. And in offline, he used to come to the next day, then reaching out to the faculty member just give 5 minutes. Okay, there are 5 minutes, you ask the question because there is too much of pressure. There are 10 students approaching me. But in recorded lecture, he can view the lecture immediately or at the moment when he faces the problem. One thing which technology has actually helped us, that we are now creating the kind of video marking in the video. So like time on the timeline. So and we are giving opportunity to student to make his own video mark. So like a particular topic you are unable to understand and you want to revise later on, then you can mark yourself on the timeline so that you can create your own playlist out of 1 hour lecture. You want to just study 15 minutes, just mark on timeline that this is something I want to revise. And these kind of feature, which I believe that's an offline plus. It's going to be part of the delivery. Nobody can survive without these kind of features. See, it's become an integral part of now education delivery services, and that's what I believe that's going to stay post COVID as well.
Sure. Thanks, Mr. Maheshwari. At one point you bring out there that the recorded lectures can be consumed by the students at their own convenience, at their own pace, right? And it can be accessed, in the manner they want, right? If they start watching on a handheld device or a bigger screen, laptop, they can do that at their own pace. So yeah, definitely great point and a great advantage for students, right? Coming to you, Mr. Jain, we've heard that there are many challenges which are being solved by the technology, etc. But still, I think there would be some challenges which you would be facing. So if you can touch on those challenges, what you see today, the pain points, and how you are solving for that, that would be great, sir.
Okay. So, in terms of, yes, a lot of challenges have already been solved, like, what Ashu said, what Mr. Maheshwari told about. So, there are a lot of hassles, as he mentioned, that, recording the lectures, then uploading it is actually a painstaking task. And now it is something which is like, after 10 minutes, the lecture is over. After 10 minutes, it is live available for the students. So, that is really helped. Even in terms of the support, like, so, earlier we had a lot of challenges in terms of getting support from our backend vendor team. Now here we have our classes starting at 6:30 in the morning. I have never even seen a single case where if I at least have any kind of a thing also to ask, I call somebody within the Appsquadz team who's been assigned to us at 6:45 in the morning, and he picks up a call and he kind of responds to it and gives the solution to it. So, these were some bigger challenges which we were facing, and these are teething issues because, I could rather share this particular fact that our lectures normally, so one batch would run, live lecture would run, say 100 lectures will be in one batch. And we've not even faced a technology issue because of which we had to cancel even a single lecture during these 100 lectures. So yes, technology has already kind of solved a lot of things for us, and challenges which we still face, and we like, some inputs into it. So, what principally we understand is education is a very simple industry. So at the providers end, what you need is a quality content and a good teacher to deliver it perfectly to the student, which you cannot just replicate in any case through a technology. And second, at the student end, what you need is the will, that he really kind of, has that will to study, because irrespective of how many efforts you put in, you have to bring him on the table and make him study. Now, one thing from the teacher end, to a large extent, everything else I think can be taken away by technology. So technology can solve everything else. Now, what we are kind of now thinking next is how can we, create that will of the student. So as of now, like you see, my daughter, she's studying in an online class. Now she's like in second. Now she is very open and she can kind of just unmute the video whenever she wants and speak to the faculty. But then, I have my cousin's elder son. He is even afraid to unmute himself and ask query in an online session. Now, all these things in an online course are nothing but going to kind of defer students from, continuing with this. Now, what we want is to we take away that particular thing that he gets. What Mr. Maheshwari told was, we want to bring the online experience as close as possible to the live thing. Now, if that challenge can be solved, wherein a student uses technology to say, okay, I am not very comfortable to ask a doubt during the online class, no problem. My app gives me a facility to ask a doubt. Even I can put a voice note, and the faculty then responds to it. So we are kind of enhancing his experience to ask more doubts into it. What we've also developed, with the help of this app, so we have developed a plan wherein a student can put in his own time schedule in the app. So what happens is, a lot of students you must be seeing do ask before the exam, so what should be the timetable, what should be the approach to study. Now our app has that kind of a technology wherein we can give him a guidance that ideally these are the way you start with your sequence and all, against which he can create his own timetable. So every day morning he gets a notification that 6 baj gaye, you have to get up and you have to start studying. He can map things as in what he has done, and there is one place where he can kind of keep track of his progress. Now Things like this. So, what I'm saying is, you use a fitness watch to monitor what your fitness level is. Why cannot we have an education app which can monitor how well are you being studied? And if we can kind of overcome that particular challenge, so in education, what we'll be left with is only on the delivery and the content part of it. Everything else, I think technology would take care of.
Sure. So I think what I'm hearing is that the role of the teacher here is increasing. One, they have to adopt to the changes in technology. Second, they have to keep monitoring the students, and also not only monitoring, also motivate them to be engaged, right? Ask questions and make sure that they are, having interest in this new style of education, so to speak. Is that, what I'm hearing?
No, absolutely. I mean, so goes without saying, absolutely. And in fact, just to add on certain things, so, I just like to add up one more feature in our app which we've developed. So, what we have done is, like, say, for example, I'll tell you, there is a question bank, right? Now, what happens is in our course, because we are teaching chartered accountancy, so you have these tax related subjects which keep on changing. Now, I understand, tax is something which everybody of us understand, because something which we hate, we kind of, know it very well. So, now we share a question bank to the student, a physical copy of it. Now there are some changes which happen in it, or there's a particular question which a student during the class understood, but then 6 months later when he's revising, he's not able to kind of recall what was the discussion. Now what he does,
right,
possibly what he can do is he can ask a doubt on it. Second, he has a doubt, is there amendment into it? How do I know about the amendment? So again, either he'll put a mail or a mail. Not many or everybody will do that. So most of them will accept, okay, they have provided that is true. Now, what feature do we have here is a student can simply, there is an audio note connected to it. He can just click on it. There's a faculty audio note available on that particular question, which we can keep on updating if there is any change. He can listen to that, that question is solved. If not, he can put up a question in the query forum. The faculty can make it public. It can be accessible to everybody. Now, with these features, student has the option that he can ask doubts either through a voice mode or through an audio mode, listen to the audio. So he will interact. And the more this interaction happens, I think, this mode of teaching will become even more indispensable with times to come, given the fact that faculty importance will always remain as it is.
Absolutely, Mr. Jain. I appreciate the important point you brought us. I think the next step in this education, evolution would be to have some bit of engagement with the students, right? Some bit of interactivity. What we are doing today for live streaming is we are using AWS services like Medialive, Media Package, and CloudFront, and streaming it, to the subscribers in a broadcast mode with a latency of 20 seconds or so. But we have a new service which is coming out called IVS, Interactive Video Service, which has a latency of end-to-end latency of around 3 to 4 seconds. And you can build chat windows or polls for feedback from students in parallel to the live streaming. So I think we are trying to solve this, coming trend or coming requirement from the market by bringing an ultra low latency solution, which can have a chat window or quiz or feedback from students, which would increase the degree of the student engagement along with the teacher and solve this problem a bit. So thank you for bringing that point. I wanted to elaborate a bit on the AWS service which serves it. Okay, so Mr. Maheshwari, I'll come to you, and let's, we've heard about the teachers' challenges and the industry challenges, and Mr. Jain shared how their kids are doing, on online education. Broadly speaking, if you can bring in the students' perspective here, how students are taking to this online, education. What's your thoughts on that?
Sure. So in respect to teachers' challenges, I would like to add one more thing to what Sarthak added, that, now challenges to the institution is, become very low because of technology. Reason being, earlier I used to, call teacher to my institution to deliver the lecture. Now, if anybody is not interested to, let's say, shift to Kota, being Kota is a remote city, not very well connected. But now with the technology, I can have anybody across the globe to be part of my group to teach my students. And that is something which has given flexibility to at least management of the coaching institution, not to get fixed with a particular teacher. which one of the biggest pain point of most of the coaching institutions, that their faculty members sometime live in between, and they actually get fixed because of attrition of the good faculty members. But now anybody can sit anywhere and can deliver the lecture, and therefore accessibility of teacher to coaching institution because of technology has improved significantly. And I'm not now less scared as compared to what I used to be earlier because of my faculty members attrition. Leaving this, the question which you asked is very, very important in respect to the students, perception regarding online. And I will just take you through what happened in last 1.5 years, 2 years. Initially, last year when pandemic happened, student has no choice, specifically in engineering and medical segment, to go for online, and because examinations were approaching. So everybody got the very good response in online case. Now we realize there are 3 categories of students, those who actually online program. One category of students, you can categorize those students into 3 categories, like good, bad, and ugly. So students who are very good are extremely satisfied with online because they are focused, motivated, self-driven, and they realize that online is actually enhancing their efficiency by saving a lot of time, which otherwise they lose in transit or going to institution and attending the classes. So for good student, online platform is going to be is a kind of blessing, and they are extremely happy with the online mode of education. There are students who are between good and average, who require personal contact and personalization, a little bit of personalization. They are also accepting. There are students who are not interested in study at all because they actually join institution because due to peer pressure, and they keep finding some or other reason of not being performing, and they actually find those kinds of issue either sometime in technology, sometime into format, sometime into faculty. So for them, I think the feedback of those kinds of students is irrelevant to anyone. Net, based on our survey, based on our experience and feedback which we have taken from our student in last 1.5 years, good students and average to good students are very, very satisfied with the online format, even if they are looking forward to join offline because of peer learning or socializing with the friends. That is the only reason perhaps they are looking forward for offline. Otherwise, from online, they are extremely happy because they actually enhance their efficiency significantly. So, student, so net students are liking this platform, but there is a bit of offline, mindset still exists in students' mind. And I believe after lockdown, an equilibrium will come both in offline and online, and both will coexist in hybrid manner. That's what my belief.
Thank you, sir. Totally agree with you. So coming to you, Ashu, key takeaways for our audience here. Can you please summarize what are the technological differentiators using AWS solution?
Right. Well, there are certain features which are exclusive to AWS. And yes, like QVBR. So this is quality defined variable bitrate. Like Jain sir was mentioning earlier, it's the content which is delivered in GBs, and if the content is too big, it is hard for the students to consume it on the devices. Now, through QVBR, what AWS has ensured is it compresses the video by at least 30%. So the media convert, the transcoding part of AWS, it compresses the video up to 30%, which not only results in reduction of file sizes, video file sizes, but also has an exponential benefit for customers when it comes to distributing the videos via cloud delivery content delivery network. Now, that is one thing which definitely is important. Other one is, again, a customer issue which we faced earlier is accelerated transcoding. It is, again, a feature of Media Convert. Now, what this does is if someone has got content, videos, and they want to take it online, and they have already made those videos. They do not want to lose out on time. With this service, they can transport the videos, make it available on the application 25 to 30 times faster. So whatever is the amount of videos you have, you can sort it out and have it available. What are these two solutions do is they really help AWS to, take a, I must say, approach which keeps them in a different league altogether if compared to anyone else. Mostly these video streaming, I'd also like to add, mostly these video streaming services, again, do suffer because of some security issues, and most security issues are sorted by DRM at server level. But what happens is current security issues are prevented by stopping video hacking or stopping the distribution of the video which is already hacked. However, we at Appsquadz, what we have ensured is a solution called VideoCrypt. Now, this can identify and intervene while the piracy is happening, and it lets you know if the video is being hacked real time. So I can proudly say it is the first AI-based piracy prevention at real time. These all things together, so the services of Appsquadz and AWS together, is something which is league ahead with any other service available for e-learning platform as of now. So those are my 2 cents.
Great. Thanks for summarizing all that, Ashu. Thank you. Next, I'll come to you, Mr. Jain, with a wrap-up question. What next on the radar for you? Where do you see, going from here?
So I mean, pretty much something which I kind of covered earlier. So is just that in terms of integrating every bit of service which we are providing to the student and involving a more engaging platform for the students. Then these people can it's basically the fundamental is like what Mr. Maheshwari was saying, that now we've introduced a little bit of quota at everybody's residences, at their places. Every home having an engineering student has some bit of quota in it. So similarly, making it such an essential part that somebody looking WhatsApp 20-30 times a day, if he's a student, he should be having those kind of things. He should be getting that kind of a value, that whenever he's free, he has that kind of facility in his hand, in his mobile phones, that there should never be a reason that this is a limitation because of which I couldn't study. So that is something which we would like to achieve in times to come.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Jain. Mr. Maheshwari, what do you see as the next step for you in terms of technology innovation? What do you want to achieve next? What's on the radar for you?
So we've been, as I said, we've been conducting live classes. The next step is to, be more to enhance the personalization of learning. That's what is on our radar. And for personalization, we are currently experimenting with, live two-way audio video kind of, platform or service, wherein in a small group, the students can speak to the faculty member and can raise their doubts and clarify their doubts. That is something I believe will complete the offline, offline delivery in online format, because that is something currently missing. As on day, we've been doing it using some kind of video conferencing tool occasionally, because that cannot be conducted on a regular basis. But now currently the team is experimenting and working. How can we integrate the technology so that two-way audio video kind of solution be given to the students to enhance the personalization. And we are also working on the data which we are generating from the students specifically for assessment, from the assessment side, and trying to build some kind of AI engine to identify the strong and weak area of a student, which otherwise is not possible in offline, and suggesting a student like where they should spend more time, where they should not, where they are into the safe zone, where they should allocate, how should they allocate their time to get the better efficiency and improved outcome. So that's what we've been trying currently.
Great. So two things. One is we want to bridge the gap between the offline learning experience and the online one, create some bit of interactivity, maybe a video chat or something for right? And the second one is data analytics, to get more, information, intelligent information out of that using AI/ML. So definitely, sir, AWS has a lot of services which can help you in both these requirements. So let's work together jointly and see how we
Sure.
can get requirements. Cool. So it was a pleasure talking to you all. Thank you, Mr. Jain. Thank you, Ashu. Thank you, Mr. Maheshwari. Let's open the house for questions from our audiences. So anybody from the audience, you can type in your questions in the chat window and we would bring it up to our panelists to answer. I have one question here, Mr. Maheshwari. Maybe you can, respond to this. The question says that we have well-developed syllabus which we all, do it during our, our live lectures, etc. How about expanding the scope and, bringing in new subjects as well? Like somebody wants to listen into blockchain or more about computing. Can you, bring in some links on those kind of technology on your digital platform as well, so that if anybody clicks on those links, they are maybe redirected and can get more information on, advanced technology or anything else they want to, learn beyond the set syllabus which you have defined today?
Definitely. In fact, this is something which we have already developed. Because I believe knowledge is spread across the geographies, and there are extremely talented people who can deliver quality education to the students, but either they are individuals or institutions. And going forward, I believe that collaboration is going to play a very, very significant role, because everybody trying to acquire students, spending money and then trying to sell doesn't make any sense. One, and second, sometimes is not economical. If if collaboration can be done, then it can be achieved very smoothly. So we have developed with Appsquadz, we have developed a teacher panel as well in our application, wherein or institution panel, wherein institution can launch their courses on our platform, or otherwise, some kind of understanding can be built, so that if somebody is already having some regular course, we can offer that course to our students also. Just to add here, because we are not only a coaching institution, I'm the chancellor of 2 private universities, and in private universities, our students are currently opting variety of courses from variety of platforms in higher education to upgrade their skills or to get job ready. And we are also working in that domain, partnering with people having those kinds of syllabus or courses which are very relevant to the people are actually aiming for a job or actually looking forward to upgrade their skills, and would be happy to collaborate with those kinds of people. And I'm a strong believer that collaboration is going to play a very, very big role in time to come, because of the technology again, because technology make it feasible. Otherwise, delivery to our student from someone is not feasible if you are working independently.
So we have another very interesting question. We did not call this out during our challenges. Is the online examinations, right? So online teaching we are solving for, but how do we solve for the online examinations? So Mr. Jain, do you want to respond? How do we solve for this online examination?
I mean, if you're talking about proctoring tools, so I don't think we have that kind of an intelligent bunch of students here in India that possibly no proctoring tool will be able to detect those kind of issues. So one, yes, there have been various case studies, wherein institutes have conducted online examinations, people sitting at their home, and they've done it decently well. But still, that element of cheating is what we call is something which is inevitable. It primarily then depends on in terms of the type of question paper you set and other things. So I'll answer this in 2 aspects. One, if we are talking about assessment of our own students, so we will rather try to have more of MCQs and time-based tricks and techniques to kind of identify where the problem is. 2, if you're talking about a exam which is being conducted by a regulator and they being able to take online coaching online test through a platform. So honestly speaking, as of now, is that something which is absolutely risk-free? It will probably only be so once we kind of change the paper pattern and the timelines what we provide, and that change has to come from there. Then it can make a real more sense. Otherwise, having the traditional mode of asking the question in the question paper and making students answer, I don't think that is going to serve the purpose as it was doing in online.
Understood. Right. Then there's a question about what are the techniques available for practical learning. Maybe I'll pick this up. So just like we are doing this webinar here for online education, last week I did another webinar which was for live streaming of surgical broadcast, right? Where doctors are performing a surgery in an operation theater, and that surgery has to be performed live and streamed live to the students, maybe thousands of students. So they did, a couple of surgeries like this, which gave the practical knowledge to around 10,000 students across the world. So that is how, we can also use live streaming to give practical knowledge. And there's another question on the cost of implementing on AWS. Cost can be OpEx or, purely pay as you go kind of a model, and you pay for only what you use kind of thing. I think that's all for now. Those were the key questions which came up. Yeah, so that's it, sir. Any closing remarks from you, Mr. Maheshwari, Mr. Jain, Ashu?
From my side, I would say if anybody among participants is looking forward to implement the solution for online education delivery, I believe AWS is a trusted partner. You can be relaxed while using AWS. That's what our experience has been. And also we have a fantastic experience with Appsquadz. You can reach out to Appsquadz also to implement the solution, because the turnaround time was pretty low. Because when I made Appsquadz, we decided to go online even before COVID. So it was not post-COVID decision. Internally, the company was prepared to go online or start online platform. And we approached sometime in the month of December 2019, November, December 2019. And by April 2020, we were ready and, we were online. The same time, actually, COVID happened. So that was a coincidence, but turnaround time was only 4 months. So you can reach out to their Square as well for, quick implementation of the solution.
Mr. Jain, your closing remarks, please.
Okay, so first, thanks for inviting us, and yes, second, in terms of anybody from the panel, I'm sure if you have any other doubts and on behalf of AWS or Appsquadz you want to have our experience even later on, we'll be happy to kind of have those queries directed through Ashu maybe, and we'll be more than happy to and glad to answer them. And second, in terms of our experience, so one, yes, so AWS, I don't think there's not much to talk about it, because name itself is enough. So that you can kind of rely on the security aspect and the efficiency part of it, because the last thing which a teacher wants is his time being occupied or being wasted because of any kind of technology inhibition. So that is something which never happens. And in terms of Appsquadz, yes, so a couple of advantages specifically talking about it. So while we were doing our partner search, we could not really find a very viable and a reliable solution wherein the live classes could be even taken on a Windows platform. So there were a lot of players who were providing this kind of a solution for a mobile platform. But at the same point of time, taking at both the places with customization, even in the Windows app, was something, which we could principally just find it here. So that was one big advantage. Plus, they have certain kind of models which are already ready with them. So, you can kind of just, if you have that kind of a live class or a VOD kind of a requirement, it's like plug and play for you. You can just kind of turn out it very quickly. However, if there is a customization, well, these guys are pretty flexible in that sense, So, and we were actually introduced to you basically. So we went to AWS first, and from there we got this particular reference. So that added a little bit more on the reliability part, and our experiences in that sense have been pretty fantastic till now. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Ashu, closing remarks from you.
Thank you so much, Gautam sir, Sarthak sir, and Pramod sir. It's customers like you which truly define Appsquadz, and it's that motto of yours to cater to all the students. We are glad that we feature in that motto, and we would be more than happy to continue this work. And if there is any other coaching institutes or any other institutes who would like to go online, Appsquadz is the way. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Ashu. Thanks, Mr. Jain. Thanks, Mr. Maheshwari. It was a pleasure talking to you all. And thank you to all our audiences for joining in today and spreading. Thank you all. Stay safe. We end the session
Thanks
now.
once again. Stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.